So there's a few ways to property bind in Angular 4. We're going to do the simple way first before we go along with the component way of doing it. Is maybe I just want to have an image here, and that image is going to have a source, of course, and that's it, right? It's going to have a source. Let's make an alt as well. And usually you could just put things in here like a cat's GIF, right? Let's see, and then also right here you can say the URL for that cat GIF. So if we go back to our application, you'll see that we have our nice little cat GIF. So now there's another way to property bind. That's actually not really property binding. Which we put our nice little square brackets around this. And this just means to Angular that, oh, you want to use a variable inside of Angular. So if we go to our app component.ts and we say cat GIF, and we say equals to that same thing, and we say cat GIF here. Since this is the template for our app component.ts, it should just go ahead and get that variable and stick it into our source. And you'll see if I refresh it that it's still the same old cat GIF. And we can do the same thing with this property here, this alt property. So now we can just take this out and say that this is going to be cat GIF alt. And then we go over here and we say cat GIF alt equals the a cat GIF. So then there you go. You still see it. Let's go ahead and break this real quick so we can see our alt text, a cat GIF. Perfect. So that's a simple way to do that. You can do that with all HTML elements that have attributes that you can give values. So now let's go ahead and do it with our app component dog details here. And the way that works is that we go up here to the top and we're going to have to import the input from Angular Core, and we're going to have to use that down here, and we want to change the name to be dynamic depending on what is passed in. So right before our name here, we're going to say that's decorator, that input decorator, and then the name, and then we're not going to say anything here. And we're going to use our nice little TypeScript because that's what Angular is mostly written in when it comes to applications. It's TypeScript, and that means that we can just go ahead and put a type on what our variables are. So I want this to be of type string. So I save that, and then I go to my app component.html, and give it a property of name. And just like you could with the source, I could just give it a name with a string just like this and say Mike. And if I go back to my application, you'll see that it says Mike. We're going to go ahead and take out this cat GIF because it's a little bit much and take it out of there. Save. Great. So now we have Mike. And let's go ahead and make another one called uh, Jim. And then we have our nice Mike and Jim as well. And then we can also use variables. So maybe we have a list of dogs in our app components .ts file or class, and we're going to say just going to call it dog1. And we go back here and we go to our app.component.ts and we say dog1 equals let's say Harry. Yes, Harry's a good name. And let's go ahead and make a dog2 as well. Dog2 equals Barry. All right, so now we go to our application and you see that we have Harry as well using a different type of property binding right there with our square brackets. And then we can go ahead and do the same thing with our dog2. So we can say name equals dog2. Now, if we go back to our application, you'll see that we have our Harry, Barry, Jim, and Mike. So say I wanted to go ahead and send some more stuff to this dog details. All I would have to do is go down here and say another input and name it color, maybe. And then I'm going to say string color. And I want to go ahead and output that color. So let's say that color is going to be color right there. So just use some string interpolation and output color. And then instead of using dog1 and dog2 like this. We're going to make it an object. And we're going to say the name is this. And the color is, I'm going to say blue because I've seen a blue dog before, maybe. And then name equals Barry. And that color is going to be brown. And then we go to our app component.html and we say dog1.name for that. And then color is going to equal dog1.color. Just showing you that you can do it with objects or you can just do it with regular old strings. And then color, again right here, dog2.color. And then right here we want to say dog2.name. And if we go back to our application, you'll see that we have our nice little things. Mike and Jim don't have colors, and that's okay. They don't have to have colors because it's not needed for the component to run.